Hey everybody, welcome to our live stream for today. Thanks for joining in today. I got my guest of honor today, Mr. Steve Barber of Supporting Strategies. Steve, thanks for joining us today, man.
Thanks, Drew. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Yeah. So before we get started, I want to remind everybody to please like, subscribe, hit the comment if you have a question or anything like that. Please hit the comment section, leave your question, and we'll have Steve answer it, or I'll answer it, whichever one of us applies to. We'll answer it for you, and to the best of our ability, at least. And then we'll go from there. But Steve, tell us more about yourself, about your background, how you got into what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so I'm Steve Barber. I'm owner and managing director of a franchise of Supporting Strategies. So I own what's defined as the Supporting Strategies Northwest Maryland office, and we do outsourced bookkeeping and accounting work for what I say growing businesses. You can be pre-revenue or early stages of startup, or a growing business or a large business. We're going to come in and we're going to do the transactional accounting for you. The day-to-day accounting. We're going to make sure your books and records are accurate. We're going to do the monthly financial statements. We're going to give you the guidance, the tools, the financial insights you need to run and grow your business and meet your business and quality of life goals. Before this, I was about 30 years of corporate accounting, corporate finance experience, most of it with a B2B media company in the Rockville, Maryland area, running their finance department, financial planning, involved with mergers, acquisitions, internal audit, internal controls, and the like.
Awesome, man. That's great. So how do you work with clients right now? Like what do clients come to you saying like, hey, Steve, we need help with this. Or we talking about this.
Help. No, so that's a great question. A lot of our clients come to us because they just don't understand where they are financially. They've either been doing the books themselves late on a Saturday night or maybe once a quarter, paying their bills on their personal credit card and on their personal bank account, and they just don't know where they are. Or they're a growing business where they've had an entry-level accounting person who's come in. They've done a fine job, but they've made several mistakes. Again, they don't know financially where they are. So they call us and they hire us, and we come in and we clean up their books and we put in the internal controls that they need, and then we give them the financial information that they're looking for. And every client is different. So we take a very client-centric approach. We start with a standardized process that we customize to every single client. So client A and client B are totally different. It's also very consultative. So we don't just say you're just not a number to us. So what do you need, Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner or Business Executive, to run and grow your business? And what would you like us to do? Would you like us to just come in from a controller perspective and review the books? Or would you like us just to do your full service bookkeeping and accounting for you? We do everything except tax. So we partner with the CPAs on the tax side. But most of the time people come in and say, help, I need to know where I am. So
yeah, no, that's good to know. I mean, it's also great that you're doing that kind of work because not a lot of people focus on those, like you said, those startup companies that are looking to grow themselves and maybe they aren't at the $1 million mark yet, but they want to get there.
I always say, as a business owner, you know what you know, and you know it, and you don't know what you don't know. I mean, I know accounting. Okay, I've spent the better part of my career in accounting, and I can keep up with the latest standards. I don't know marketing. I don't know tax. I even outsource my own taxes to the CPAs, to CPA firms. Just a quick funny story that I tell a lot of folks. About a year and a half ago, I was talking to a restaurant, husband and wife owned a local restaurant. They did the books themselves. They had no idea where they stand and how to do the books. So I was telling them our process, and they're looking at me like I'm crazy. You could do this? Really? I don't understand. I don't understand how you could do this and use the systems and the third-party best-of-breed technology that we use. And I said, look, you give me full access to your gorgeous commercial kitchen in the back, and I'm going to cook you one mean peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, because that's the extent of my knowledge in a commercial kitchen. Okay, so we know accounting. We know accounting very well, and so we're able to help businesses of all sizes, industry agnostic, and we keep up the latest standards.
Awesome. So with COVID-19, everything has happened over the last year or so. What are some challenges that folks have been facing? First of all, are they the same challenges they were facing before? Are they unique challenges just to COVID, or just kind of? I've heard a lot of folks talking about this basically exposed vulnerabilities that they didn't know they had before. So,
well, if 2020 has taught us anything, it's none of us know the future. Nobody. We went back to 1 year ago, planning for 2020, nobody would have said we were going to be in an international worldwide pandemic for 10 months with, depending on who you talk to, some end in sight, or maybe a while longer. So as folks are dealing with the pandemic, it's been a tale of two stories I've heard. Some companies have flourished. They've been able to pivot and adapt and are doing very well. And other companies are not, maybe because of the economic conditions out there. Maybe there's other factors. So what I tell people is, as you're planning for 2021, you should be doing a business plan, some type of budget, some type of forecast, some type of projection. And that projection needs to be fluid. And you need to have multiple versions of that. You need to have a best case, a base case, a worst case. You need to build in formulas or build in assumptions that easily adapt as the world changes. Because, Drew, I'll tell you one thing. None of us know what January is going to bring. None of us know what tomorrow is going to bring. So you have to be able to plan accordingly. I think once COVID gets out of here, business is going to explode. Okay, so you should have a version of your business plan that if your revenues take off, if they skyrocket back up, that could be devastating to some businesses, because you're going to incur more expenses. You're going to have to hire people back. So you have to be able to plan accordingly and prepare for that. And of course, you have to prepare that if this continues on for another 3, 6, 9 months, you have to be ready for that also.
Yeah, I think that's really key, and it's not something people talk about a lot, right? It's the multiple plans. It's
multiple plans, and that's what I did for the better part of my career, is the financial planning, the strategic management. So that's where I come in and really help that business owner or that business executive, or those business executives, or those nonprofits that are just trying to fulfill their mission statements. The proper planning, that's where it all starts. And it doesn't need to be a painful process. It could be a high-level business plan. I had a manager for about 15 years who taught me one thing early on. A number by itself means nothing. All right. So when you plan, you always compare it against something. You always make sure you have a base that you're comparing against. That base could be prior year. That base could be a projection. And the law of large numbers, what the law of large numbers is, you can build a plan at every single line item in infinite detail. Or you could take what I call a $10,000 or $15,000 view of it and build the same plan, and you're going to come up with the same exact number. 95% of the time, that same exact number. So a business planning does not need to be a painful process. And so I make it as easy as possible. Couple hours, get a good handle, help business executives build their plan, and compare that plan against a base to work off of.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I just want to say, sorry, it's just on PPP, right? So 2020 was the CARES Act and PPP and EIDL loans. And early on, it was, how do I apply for this? And how do I get the money? And now it's, how do I get the loan forgiveness? How do I maximize loan forgiveness? So, the interim rule is still out there, but lenders are starting to accept PPP loan applications. Some have already, some are still waiting. I know Bank of America, for one, is about to open up their PPP loan forgiveness. So there's a few different forms that people use depending on the size of the loan you got. What we do is we specialize in the PPP loan forgiveness. We make sure you have the proper reports, and we're going to look at what the base was of how, when you applied for that PPP loan, and we're going to maximize your loan forgiveness for you. And each lender is a little bit different. So we work with all of them.
Awesome. So with the PPP process right now, I mean, what are the things that people are facing challenges with in terms of what are the things that you want people to understand about PPP that may not already know, right? That because there's a lot of stuff out there right now, a lot of back and forth.
There's a lot. We could take longer than the half an hour, 45 minutes we're on the call. You're just talking about PPP.
Sure.
They need to know basically what their disbursement date is, and then they have an election whether they want to use 24 weeks or the original 8 weeks, 10 weeks that it was on there for. The small bid, the SBA and the IRS have come back and said to us, the guidance given is what certain percentage needs to be on employees. That has changed, so you have to make sure you're reaching that certain percentage and certain metrics, and that's something that your payroll provider can absolutely help you with also. So I would say if you still want to go about this on your own, make sure you reach out to your payroll provider, make sure you have the proper reports, and make sure you have the basis and you kept all that paperwork from when you applied for the PPP loan.
Awesome. So when we were talking earlier, you mentioned something about changes to the 1099 program too, and I want to give you a shot to give people an update on that, because there are a lot of freelancers that listen to my show, if you want to call it a show. But what are some changes to 1099 you want to talk about real quick?
Well, I want to make everybody aware that there's a new form that actually hasn't been around since I think I read 1981, something along those lines. It's a 1099 NEC, non-employee compensation. So in the past, there was only one 1099 form. It was 1099 miscellaneous, and you recorded the information in box 7 or box 10 or whatever the proper box was. Well, now that form has become the 1099 NEC, but there's still a 1099 miscellaneous form that you may have to fill out. So the rules got very complicated. So just make sure that when you're doing your 1099s, and for those who not familiar with 1099s, it's basically any compensation you paid to a non-employee in excess of $600, you have to report that through a 1099. Now, there are exceptions to that. If you're a C Corp or an S Corp, you don't have to get the 1099. If you paid by a credit card, the credit card company issues the 1099. There's a lot of exceptions, but you have to understand which form to use, because if you don't use the right form, you will be penalized by the IRS for that. And that's something that's Supporting Strategies that we're up to speed on. There's also, I wrote down here, if you pay an attorney, for a specific litigation, you use 1099 miscellaneous. If you paid an attorney for general business matters, you have to use the new 1099 NEC form. So it's even going back and looking at your attorney bill. So there's special caveats in here that make it complicated, because it's 2020. Why should anything be easy? So,
yeah, I mean, that's not complicated at all. I mean, it seems pretty
not at all.
straightforward.
So again, that's where we help our clients. That's where we make sure. So basically, here's some free advice: is that when you sign a new vendor, first thing you should ask from that vendor is you can get a W-9 form from them. That gives you all the information: their social security number, if they're a sole proprietor, their EIN number, if they're an LLC, and you put that into your accounting system. That's before you issue payment. You should have that from every single vendor. And the reason is because once you issue payment, you have no leverage from that vendor to get that information that you need to issue the 1099s. And the penalties are quite stiff if you don't do it correctly.
Gotcha. So basically on Tuesday between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., use the 1099 NEC. Any other time, use the 1099 miscellaneous.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So.
Gotcha. Nice. No, that's great. And that's nice caveat to my next question, which is, what is a line where a business owner or an independent consultant would be like, look, I've done all I can do, and with my expertise in the accounting field, I got to go hire somebody like Steve. What's the point where someone's like, let me talk to Steve and see what he can do for me, or someone like that?
If you're a small business owner and you're doing it yourself, or you just basically discount the bookkeeping or the accounting aspect of the job, when the opportunity cost, and that is the opportunity cost is, if you spend 3 hours a week or 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week, whatever it is, on your bookkeeping, paying your bills, doing your customer invoicing, collections, and the like, what could you be doing with that time? If you are a lawyer who bills out at $250, $300 an hour, and you have a practice of 2 or 3 attorneys, and you're doing the bookkeeping yourself, takes you 5 hours a month. Well, that's $1,500 in revenue, $18,000 a month. $18,000 in revenue a year, or thereabouts, if my math is correct, that you could be billing if you hire somebody to do the work. And by the way, if you're a 2 or 3 person a 2 or 3 partner law shop, it's not going to cost you $18,000 to hire me to do your bookkeeping. So, what's that opportunity cost? Actually, just on a side note, law firms are actually the number 1 client for Supporting Strategies. We have a whole workflow dedicated to attorneys and reconciling their trust accounts and the like. I get off topic there. So when is the right time? Is when the opportunity cost exceeds the time you're spending on that.
Awesome. I love that, because that's one thing I go through with all my business coaching clients is a lot of it's mindset. 85% of what I do is mindset, right? Like getting people to understand the difference between the opportunity cost and the regular cost of doing business. And the fact that, look, if you're a business owner you bill yourself out at, like you said, $300 an hour, right? If you're spending 20 hours of your time to build a website yourself, That's a crap ton of time and money, right?
Yep.
I always say, look, you can always make $1 back. You can't make time back, right? That's time lost. And so,
and it's probably not even done as good as you would outsource too. Right. If you hired the person we were talking about, before this call, you hired them, all right, and any marketing professional to do it, they're going to do a much better job. For us, we're going to do the bookkeeping timely and accurately. So you, as the business owner or the business executive, are not going to have to worry about your books. You can focus on what you do, and that's growing your business. And I always say, I don't actually call any of my clients. I call them strategic partners.
Yeah,
because that's what it is, a long-term partnership. If I can help them grow their business, guess what? My fees go up. I'm growing my business. It is a true partnership here. And I also say to my clients, how awesome would it be if I can put in enough productivities and efficiencies throughout your organization using my prior work experience to do it and pay for myself? That's my goal with every single client. Every single one of my clients, if they would come on to this to this live stream right now, they would tell you, I have told them that in my sales pitch, and I have tried to enact it. Obviously, the clients do what they want to do, and we say, okay, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. But we try to make as many recommendations as we can to increase productivities and efficiencies on the back end. That's what it's all about.
Awesome. For those of you joining the call, please feel free to jump in and ask questions. Steve's here for another few minutes. We want to make sure that leverage his time as much as possible. If you have questions about accounting, about bookkeeping, those kind of things, please post them in the chat below and we'll have Steve answer them. But while we're doing that, what you mentioned is awesome in terms of having a vendor that's able to say, look, my goal is to help you pay for me, right? Make it so that you're not paying anything for me, essentially, right? I cover my costs myself. And that's that's the ultimate goal for any kind of vendor like that, right? And so when you're able to do that directly for a client, then it's turned and the value becomes apparent, right? Yeah. But the first step is getting them to see the fact that, I had one client, he was so proud of himself. He spent 40 hours creating his website himself. He spent another 35 hours researching social media and then started deciding what to post and figuring out for himself. That's great in the long term, but do you want to be doing that long term? Right. And that's essentially 75 hours that he spent doing this work that he bills at $300 an hour. So you do the math. I mean, that's $225, $20,000 you spend it just in the course of 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Right? Well, I'll tell you, I've had a client. I'm not going to share who it is because they may see this, obviously. But when he came on board with us a little over a year ago, he thought he was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, almost $1 million a year. We came in and we said, all right, we got to correct some discrepancies from your prior bookkeeper, okay, that you had, which was an internet-based bookkeeping company. Mm-hmm. And we went back 2 years and rebuilt his books, basically, is what we had to do. And he found out that although he still has a very successful company, a profitable company, it wasn't what he thought he had. And he's like, and I remember my team calls me, I have an incredible team, and they say to me, Steve, we just got the phone with so-and-so, and he's not happy. And I said, why is he not happy? He goes, because we told him where he is and from a financial standpoint. And I said, well, that's a good thing because we did our job. He now has accurate financial information, and he's able to use the tools that we give him to manage his business better. And like I said, he's been a client for over a year now. Last time I talked to him the other month, he loves us. Trade emails with him. We're there, and we value him as one of our clients or strategic partners. So that's what we do. So we're more than just bookkeeping. You're not a number to us, and that's who you want in a partner. And it doesn't matter if it's bookkeeping or accounting, or if it's business coaching, or if it's IT, or if it's your social media or your website management or your HR support, whatever it is, you want that partner that is going to care about you, not only as a client, but as a person. And by the way, if you have any of those that you've worked with this year during this COVID era that we're in, who have not reached out to you and said, how do I help? Time to make a change. I
agree. 100%, man. Yeah. Because if anyone who's sensitive to the situation right now knows that their clients need them more than ever right now, Yes. And so, especially business owners and small business owners, and that's one of the reasons I do this live stream, right? It's to give small business owners a chance to connect with each other and say, hey, listen, I actually need a bookkeeper, or I need an accountant, or I need a marketing person, or I need help with X, Y, and Z, and I want to be efficient and effective at how I do it. Right.
Yep. And I'm all about helping my community. Right. So I'm actually not about selling, believe it or not. I'm about how do I help? So I'm involved in my community. I'm vice president. I'm located in Montgomery County, Maryland, in the Up County area, and I'm vice president of the Clarksburg Chamber of Commerce. So I'm out there as much as possible in my community. When COVID first started, I had to actually change my sales process. And I said, I'm not selling.
Yeah.
So I'm out there to help my community, help understand the CARES Act, help understand the EIDL and the PPP loans. Okay. And that's what I did, donate a lot of my time. And what happened, Drew, is I got business from it. It wasn't my intention, but I had clients come to me and say, you know what, we understand what you do. Okay. And you've done a great job for us. And now I'm also offering to my community to say, if you have a question on PPP loan forgiveness, reach out to me. Let me help you. I'm happy to help. If I got to donate some of my time to my community, to your community, Drew, I'm happy to, because that's what it's all about. You give the time back, it comes back in the long run.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And I love that. That's why we connected the way we did. So speaking of connecting, if you want folks to reach out to you, if they have questions or that kind of thing, they want to reach out to you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Sure. That's very easy. So you can email me, sbarber, SBARBER at Supporting Strategies. You see the sign in the back.com, sbarber at supportingstrategies.com. I'm very active on LinkedIn. So you can reach out to me at Stephen G. Barber, STEVEN G. Barber, or Supporting Strategies Northwest Maryland. As you said, you see the sign in the back. Facebook, also, you can look me up, or Supporting Strategies Northwest Maryland. Or give me a call, 301-329-0342. The phone's always on. Whether my wife doesn't like it, but the phone's always on. It goes to my computer here, and if I don't pick up on my computer, it bounces to my cell phone. So I'm just happy to help.
Awesome. That's great, man. We'll put all the information in the description below. Is there any last minute thoughts you want to leave folks with before we call it a day for today, for this live stream?
Yeah, just don't discount the accounting side of your business. It will cost you more in the long run to get it right and get it fixed. If you're in the early stages of a startup, go out, reach out to your industry experts, partner with them, do it right on the front end. If you're a growing business and you say, what worked for me, let's forget about COVID for a second. What worked for me 6 months ago or 3 months ago is not going to work now, and I'm struggling to keep up. Reach out, okay? And that's in any industry, really. For us, we maximize customer invoicing and customer receipts, right? We maximize vendor invoicing or payments, okay? Payments out. We manage cash flow for our clients. So we get cash in sooner when we wait for cash out. So there's more money in your bank account. So hire the industry experts. Don't discount the bookkeeping. Don't discount the accounting, and do a business plan of some sort. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to talk with you about it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Steve. Like I said, I'll put all Steve information in the description below the video, if you guys watch it on YouTube or on Facebook after. But thank you guys. Thanks a lot so much for joining me, Steve. The awesome information, really, really, really powerful. For those of you who are watching, please hit like button, hit subscribe if you're interested in hearing more about the different people we're having coming on the live stream in the future. Leave a comment below. Any questions you have, reach out to Steve, reach out to me. Happy to answer them. Thanks again for joining us today. Steve, thank you again. It was awesome.
Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it.
We'll talk soon. Take care, guys. Take care and be safe.
Yes. Happy holidays.